Shalom, everyone. Here at IDI, I'm your brother Yisrael Yeshambaya. Today we have a great segment today that we'll be talking about. So I hope everyone is excited about that. We had a pretty good rain that came, and I know Shalom, all the prayers has been answered for our brothers and sisters around the world. And our Father so appreciate it. As we see, we're getting closer and closer to this catastrophicness that we've been teaching here at IDI to allow brothers and sisters the opportunity to know the time, to find out that you don't have that much time as we are moving forward into every page that is being turned by my Father Yahuwah. So today I will be talking about what we will be talking about. So many things here that been trying to make sure get together for you all. Hope all have continuously used the information that you have gained for good causes, because it's going to matter to those brothers and sisters that need to hear that truth to understand it. And when we bring all the information together and share it here also on YouTube, me and my wife, Yisrael Yamakaya, and the brothers and sisters that actually also bring things to the forefront for us all to know and understand as well. Like I say, like my Father, he embodies us with his spirit. So many of us are working on the body differently. So we're being put in certain places at certain times to give honor and bear truth to my Father Yahuwah. So with that said, I send out my love, my blessings, and my cares to all my brothers and sisters around the globe. I am your friend, your brother Yisrael Yeshambaya. Anyone need to reach out to me, you can also do that by our email. You also can follow us on Twitter X, Intelligent Voices Israelites. That's another way of getting in touch with us. I think I had a phone number out there as well. You also can reach us at 623-455-0548. And if you leave your messages, someone, either my wife or I or brother or sister will most likely get that call and to answer everyone back. If it's pertaining to any assembly events, or there's material that you want from us that you may have heard on one of our segments, please feel free to also leave the message and email, so that way we can get back with you. So let's go into prayer like we always do. Hope everyone got water, pen, paper, ready to get into this study. I got a 2-hour window here, Mountain Town, Arizona. So for brothers and sisters that is around the globe, hope you can stay that long. And if not, please feel free to always come back to start from the beginning so you can get the full fruit of Father's teachings that he has shared upon us. So let's go into prayer, everyone. Almighty Father Yah, I send my love, my prayers unto you as you have sent your word unto our hearts, controlling us each and every day, blessing our family and friends, our brothers and sisters around the world, teaching them to stay in covenant, to understand that you are alive and a breathing spirit that can impose itself on anyone who has an open heart. May everyone have eyes to hear and see, because you must use your eyes to see the word and therefore bring it into the heart so that way you can be conceiving the word. We thank you, Father Yah, for hearing all our brothers and sisters abroad and helping them understand that the time is at hand, the kingdom which you have prepared for all brothers and sisters who will become citizens returning. May you aid and assist our brothers and sisters that's also outside of the U.S. who are trying to make their journey into the U.S. with a righteous cause. And may their family and their children so make it, and let brothers and sisters who are Israelites truly find them, and to therefore make sure they are supplied for and have the grace that is delivered from them to you, so they can go on and be productive for the little bit time that they have here in the so-called, which is America, Babylon, revealed. So today we will be discussing, I have some notes here, getting everything in order for everybody here and myself. I'm running behind everyone a little bit. We were supposed to start it up a little ways, but hey, we thank y'all for all opportunity of time, right? So, amen, amen, shalom to all. So now, must find my glasses, everyone. Otherwise, we can't get started. Thank you. So today we will be starting out, everybody. I'm going to try to break down as much of this as possible because this teaching is a very extensive teaching. I mean, if I had the time, which I won't, you will have to just actually see exactly what we're talking about. If you've been here with IVI and have been with us for some time, everyone, you will basically understand that we have talked and brought among you many things that many haven't touched on, but we now know that it is seeping into brothers and sisters to teach it and to therefore make understood by my Father Yahweh, because we are obedient in covenant, and here it is, we are humble in spirit. So you have to be humble in spirit. You got to be good hearers and good seers. That's why I say eyes to see and hear, because it comes by the windows of your eyes. Because when you can look in your Bibles and then use your logic that comes with grace of the Spirit, which now should be free from all bondage of the flesh, it allows you now to have that balance that Father has been talking about, the missing pieces, and to give you the whole fruit. So now we are seeing at little bits of time as he feeds us. We're talking about the religion Babylon. That's right. Religion Babylon. What is the emerging religion? So, as we see and talked about, brothers and sisters started out with going to church, okay, by following parents and friends or whatever not, or trying to just be a good deed towards, submission to repentance, but not understanding that that wasn't the true way of following or trying to be repentant of any actions, because man who had got in bed with the devil Halil have only therefore twisted the truth with lies and have given you serpent tongue. And Yah says either you must be set apart from it, your ways or wicked ways of this religion that therefore is being taught by another doctrine. We see many pastors, evangelists have now seen the light through certain brothers, and by just being on YouTube, period, everyone, to see how the world that they used to live in, time the real world of the scriptures, that is now coming into focus and have come into focus to them to show their Congress that they haven't been forever telling you guys the whole truth. So we see a lot of empty buildings that could be used for the homeless population to help our brothers and sisters. But we see that is not it, because this religion doesn't care about humanity. It cares about the enslavement of humanity. So we're going to get into this today, talking about the religion, and the religion is Babylon, and what is the emerging religion. Now, as I had stated before in one of the videos, I had talked about when Satan had got bound, how Prince had it 1999, the wrong date, but have now given you the right dates in the times by showing you when he was bound. Because 2001, when that hit, we can go as far as a little over a decade, but 12 years into, from 2001 into 2013. And then as we see a short time in 2013, but when I stop here from 1 to 2013, I want you to remember about all the things that happened from 2001 all the way up into 2013, because this is basically allowing you to see that the devil was not being released. He was being put in bondage at this time. And then from 2001 to 2013, we see that after the catastrophic of the housing market, bank market, and many other things that gave a red flag of basically destruction, because this came from anger. But then we see he was released for a short time again. Now, as we move forward from 2013, that short time all the way up into 2025. I mean, to the 24 to leading into 25, which, as we see now, Biden has stepped down, and therefore we also see the protesting of Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel and many other leader-heads. But before that, we also see the catastrophic of Northern Africa, which have the governments and the mayors and sent in the way things was run there, as many immigrants has fled from there due to terrorism, as we have seen. And now, as in 2024, we see now with Biden open up the borders for the southern border and many coming in, and we seeing this crime rate completely up. And we're seeing people are having a hard time with basically finding the basic resources in America. So we are seeing this is the short time moment, which now we see Kamala Harris is basically rampaging around as the woman, which is basically to sit on many waters, and taking on the failure of Biden, who therefore implemented all of these open borders and catastrophicness that has happened within inside America, as those who are inhabitants haven't received pretty much gotten any help and have been here all their lives since they have been born, right? So this, I want you to see this all stems from a religionist background, okay? As we know, my father Yahweh was fighting with the Pharisees, Sanhedrins back in that time, as well as we see also Abraham went through a lot with the Egyptians, and here it is of the taking of women, and they, also we see that in the scriptures. And we know that many times over, the so-called African Americans who are basically in America have now started to be waking up since 2013 to all the way to 2024. They done heard the truth by many brothers and sisters who have gained vast wisdom from Yah, my father, to therefore come in their conscience from their heart to know that the church is not the way. They done left the church, and here it is. Man have called it the falling away, but really it's a waking up, because brothers and sisters who are choosing to find the truth by research, as they have found IVI and many other brothers and sisters around the internet and maybe just bumped into them in store, might work with brothers and sisters who are wearing fringes or basically referring to the Most High by a different name than Jesus, Lord and God. Because now we are seeing that we're dealing what is called an emerging religion. Now, this emerging religion, I had touched bases on it before, that it starts in 2027, everybody, okay? And this emerging religion will come with persecutions around the globe, nations against nations fighting and all kind of things, right? And we see that this is going to be put together with the son of prediction who's just been chosen. And here it is, we see the son of prediction who is basically running the ranks of the polls and many other things, right? Who therefore is so-called coming to fix America. But it comes with a religionist background to fix America. By UN help, the Israeli Jews and Muslims back help. Now, when you do your research on how many Muslims there is, you will see that there's more of them than Christians. So when you look at this peace religion that's coming with the help of Pope, and therefore they say Pope Francis, or it might be a new Pope that steps up for Pope Francis, will be the anti-Yahweh, who therefore help merges this religion into a catastrophic persecution. Because we're going to get into this in this segment. I have 2 hours, so here it is. I'm going to get as much as I possibly can out to you guys. And whatever I can't get, please request it, and we'll send the rest to you in PDF. And only for a short time because we have so much other work we're doing, but we will get that to you ASAP as fast as possible. But at the same time, what we're finna get into, we see 2024 is basically the short time spoke of in Revelations, because he have a short time, right? Now we're seeing that this short time is extended because it marks the short time for normality for humanity. For those who are Christians, who could be all different other religions. But now when it comes to the Hebrew Israelite, this is where I want everyone to pay attention. Because this is about your faith, and this is about your destiny, and about your choice. Because here it is, what is going to happen, all right? Starting coming in 25 now. That means here it is, do your countdown to 27. And you'll basically understand by the time before you hit 27 what is really going on. Because by that time you should hear about the Jews or so-called Jews in Israel fleeing. Okay, and here it is. You're gonna find out that we mentioned it here, giving you a heads up. If you have brothers and sisters over there in Israel, Tel Aviv, or anywhere around Israel or Jerusalem, the heads up of the play of what's about to happen. So, getting to that, that marks 12:12. Now, my father always keep here it is the numbers, and here it is. A sense of evenness, never odd. Okay, when you see an odd number like such as 3, this is basically the turning of another event, the page. Basically, here it is, basically a short turn, and here it is allowing you to see the new event is now opening up. As he stated, it's like birth planes. Okay, they come back to back, but when we see them, they have already been decreed into the earth. So now 2027, this is when you're going to start hearing of persecutions. And then therefore, by this time, it should have been unflooded into America because the eagle get her wings clipped and then she revives herself, right? Off of a religion, right? She become accustomed to different ideas, which here it is, to make it great again, you're going to need a very good salvation, right? Which here it is, putting people together under Nebuchadnezzar's old system. So now even Putin spoke on it. This is an old order repackaged as a new order. So it's not going to turn out right. And now we hear in the word nations against nations. But what we've been doing here, what Father allowed us to do here, bear witness with you, is to see the time travel of your historical record book, which is your Hebrew Bible, which takes you to the past, to the present, and to the future. Now, as you're going to see here, we're going to start up, and we must go and make understood that 2037 will be the end of the age. You and I, brothers and sisters, who are of the 1/3 of every other different nation, and those of the household of Judah, 12,000 from each tribe, will be grafted in and gone. So this end of the age of 2037, you have a huge gap from 2027 to 2037, right? That there is activity that will be going on in between that, right? Because what do the words say? That after the persecution, people will exchange gifts and have parties and give on for the dead bodies that lies in wait, right? Because now they're a true, here it is, ruler, and their true city for a short time, 42 months. And this is what's going on in between, if you wanted to know, from a 2027 to 2037. And here it is. We know that Yah says the saints in the 1/3 stays with him for 1,000 years, 1,000-year reign, right? So now we read in Matthew, as many have read. I'm just giving y'all light verses of what we're going to be talking about. We see in Matthew that right after the tribulation, then the end should come, right? So now we're looking in normal sense of 7-year period, okay? So now we're seeing that within this time frame from 2027 to all the way leading to 2037, we'll be marking within the half of the 7-year tribulation, everybody, okay? Leading to the end, which would be 42 months, which I did the math on one of the videos, which leaves off 98 days. Now, we're not counting, we're counting that in human terms of days, how man see days, times now looking at the 1,000-year reign that therefore must happen, right? So now we see through that math, when you add that 98 days to that, and if you go back and watch that video, you'll see the extra zero is there because that represents the empty space, which is marking 1,000 years. Now, 2037 is the end of those evil periods of those who will be judged, right? Actually shutting down the world completely in darkness, completely engulfed, okay, in darkness. Now, this ain't even the judgment yet, because the judgment have to come right after the tribulation. So here it is, those who therefore have made their garments white, which is the 1/3 who therefore kept Jesus, okay, because Yah says, I don't look at that anymore. I'm looking at your heart, right? Your heart is your deeds. So do your heart have the deeds of truth in it? And this is how those 1/3 would be judged accordingly to be accepted. And those who don't, you'll understand what happens to them later. But now, as we just giving you a little bit of that other video when I was speaking on that, but now back to the lesson. The religion Babylon. What is the emerging religion? Okay, we must first go, and I want to first take us to Genesis 15, verse 13, right? Because I want everybody to go to the beginning, right? So your memory can come back and see the pages of the crystal of truth of Yah seeing glass before the throne, the altar, which therefore will show you exactly how far ago Abraham was being told this and why he was being told this, which was basically he seeing many things go on in his time. It maybe thought that was lining up to what Yah was actually saying. True, and some not true. because what I'm finna explain to you, that every generation, actually the same inhabitants in different bodies actually go through the same test. Now, when you take jewelry to a pawn shop, it eventually, when it tests your gold to see if it's real, it actually does an acid test, right? Keep that in mind. So now, pertaining to Abraham in chapter 15, what was told to him is basically this example of what I just said about the pawn shops. Every time there's gold brought in, what is it being done? What is being done to it? No matter what time and day it being brought to them, it is still the procedure and instructions and the guidance, right? Keep in mind with logic that one must be instructed to do in order to test it over and over again, right? So now you understand why I said every generation. So here it is with Father Abram, well, the leader of nations, Abram, who became Abraham, was told this. And it clearly says here in verse 13, everybody, then the Almighty One, Yahuwah, said to Abram, know for certain that your descendants, okay? Now we can look up that word descendants in your dictionary, and that will give you a HD, which is a high definition, here it is, understanding of the word. He says your descendants will reside as, it got aliens, but it says outcasts in the scrolls, as outcasts in a land not their own, right? Now, we're the only people that can tie ourselves back to a land not our own, being brought here, even though we were brought to another location of the land, because Yah says all of the land, as far as you can see, is yours, right? So now here it is. Remember, Moses was told this as well when before Joshua took them across the Jordan into the new lands. So now he says, will reside in a land not their own, where they shall what? Be enslaved. Now, I want you to think about enslaved. I want you to also throw yourself into the dictionary for enslaved, because you want to amplify high definition these words, everybody. And oppressed, he says, for 400 years. Now, when I said about the timing of Halil being bound, I also gave the timing of on the calendar 2012 when they had marked on everybody's calendar that the 400-year period is up from, remember, Jamestown. Okay. So now Virginia. So now 1619, but we can go back farther as 1532 with Spanish. You must go see the video removing the mask. So now you see that we're talking about an emerging religion that already had always been here and have been pushed on the people who were brought here or therefore had an interest here, which I'm talking about the New Babylon, America. It has therefore took descendants from different locations, freely and unfreely, okay? So that's why we're looking at the word descendant. And then we know that we done talked and understood the land, which is belonged to all Israelites, but was taken away from certain minorities, here it is, and majorities at the same time, because we got the Indians, we get, those who were enslaved as well. El Yanka. Go back and do your history and look up El Yanka. So, and that's spelled Elyana, everyone. El Yanka. So now we got to look at the word be enslaved, period. To look at the word enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. Now, when someone is oppressed, that means they're not able to be able to be seen equal, okay? Or they're being limited access to certain things that others have access to, right? So now they're being enslaved to the customs of having not the resources, right? And this is how the Hebrew Israelite, or the so-called African American in America, became, here it is, pasteurized on, here it is, loving the oppressor, what they're giving them the scraps of. Because here it is, we're looking at basically time that everybody has forgotten. Time. This time. Undiscovered time, right? Because now, as we see clearly, we must look these words up. And I'm going to try to get everything a little bit, mostly all in, everybody, today. We're going to look up the word descendant, because I want everybody to see. How they, will they give it to me? Let's see. No. Oh, I'm spelling it right. I have to look down. All right. Here we go. Descendant. So now it gives you a definition: moving or directed downwardly, proceeding from an ancestor. This is one we want. Proceeding from an ancestor. One originating or coming from the stock of that ancestor. So now you understand why Abraham is the leader of the Israelites, because favor was given unto Abraham by listening and believing that here it is, Yah, Father Yahuwah, led him to wherever locations he went as an alien or a foreigner, here it is, to other lands, which he came out of Ekron, which we did a video on that as well, brothers and sisters, which allow you to see that that was on the Euphrates River, tied to 5 cities apart to the Ekron, ancient Babylon, right? So now as we see descendants, meaning coming from or out of the stock of an ancestor. So every brother and sister that's born can claim themselves back to their ancestors of tribal, right? Even the Caucasian, okay? The Ashkenaz. Everyone can tie themselves back to a lineage. We are Hebrews, Israelites, right? The so-called African Americans, who is named by 2 continents, right? So now we're seeing that this was and has always been an emerging religion to convert. That's what I want y'all all to pay attention to, which is to convert. Once you become foreigners in some other location, usually people become followers of what they see and what they hear, right? Which goes into where? Here. And therefore, once it reaches here, this is like your plain black box. It's your recorder of data, which allows you to make adjustments or therefore to bring in things to readjust, right? So that's why I had you look at descendants. Now let's look at enslaved. The word enslaved. Now enslaved, held involuntarily. See that? Involuntarily, forced under threat of violence or death, or put to death to work without pay, right? For the profit of another. So now you're seeing what enslaved. Not only did people become converted when they got here, and any person that ever came to America, after 1 or 2 years, they eventually become converted, right? In some way, right? Which is still, keep your eye on the prize, which is still an emerging religion. Because this whole land, this whole place, this whole location have been copycatted from an ancient location, which have only made the descendants enslaved, which they call it today inhabitants. Everyone that's there have become enslaved, and there's always a small number or remnant that is not enslaved, but is a descendant from a different location. Shalom. So now as we see this here, we must go to Galatians now, because now we're going to realize 400 years turns into what? 430 years. Then I tell you earlier when we started this lesson, everyone, that the book will be your time travel of past, present, and future. This is your time machine. But it will allow you to see the emergent religion that now catches you up by your lost time, by your rediscovered time. And here it is, allow you to see the present time, right? To where you're headed. Because my father time is beyond human time and understanding, right? We know that. So now going to Galatians, let's look at the book of Galatians. See, this is going to get y'all advanced knowledge in no time, right? Because these are puzzle pieces that many have lost the communication of. But Father said one must be brought back to this information, right? So now let's look here in verse, what's this, 16 of Galatians chapter 3. Now the promise were made, you see that, to Abraham and to his descendants. Underline, Abraham and to his descendants. Because what you're going to find out is how far behind time he was. And even by the time of when Abraham was given this, how far even behind time he was, right? Which therefore only caught up to his generations of descendants who also have offsprings, and they became descendants, and descendants had offsprings for every generation, right? So now Abraham and to his descendants, and it says, it does not say and two, and only two. See that? They got and. It doesn't say only to the present descendants that he was with, as referring as to just them. See that? But referring to the many. That's what's supposed to be there, brothers and sisters. But as referring to the one. Now remember, I am in the Father and the Father is in me. And that reads not two, but one. So that means here it is, all 1/3 and all of the 144,000, 12,000 from every tribe of Israel, returning back to accurate information and accurate counting. That's right. Because now it's bringing you out of past generations into your present generation so you can see what is at hand for this generation, what is coming up, right? What is emerging? What hasn't emerged yet, right? 4 beasts, and one haven't emerged yet. So this beast is a religion beast that's coming after the son of prediction, okay? So now you're seeing that this is a spiritual thing that is being carried and led by a human, the undivine thing. But the plans of the higher divine have put this plan in place, which is Yahshua, Yahweh, Yahuwah, who so-called they call Jesus, Lord, God, and Allah, Buddha, and many other things. So now you're going to understand that this emerging religion, which is a defiled one, right? Because we just proved descendants became enslaved And that means if anyone who's here in any background who shares in her plagues is a descendant from somewhere, some tribe, but here it is, you are still part of Israelite. The only confusion that has happened upon you is the dividing by the many nations, calling themselves by different names, right? And therefore a particular one persecuted every generation in some way, right? By enslavement, right? Because our own people who were firstly Somali and Muslims, they were the ones that cultivated the plant from the Caucasian, who were the Nicolaitans as well, and therefore found out the way of slavery. And then therefore what happened? It went beyond and beyond. Here it is, every descendant which had carried offspring, brothers and sisters. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the emerging religion that no one is trying to stop. Because here it is, we're looking at a decree. I just said that every time someone takes gold to a pawn shop, I don't care what pawn shop you go to, the test is always going to be the test to see if it's real. It don't matter that somebody else just brought some in last week and it got tested. Some was good and some was bad. But it doesn't say for the next person that comes, who is a descendant and the offspring of that descendant, won't be tested for that generation. Otherwise, how could you say you are going to a kingdom unfit? Because here it is, this kingdom we are talking about of my father Yahuwah is a righteous one, undefiled, without blemish, right? So now you see why I say we have to go to the word descendant and we must look at the word enslaved. Now we're here in Galatians, and as we clearly see in verse 16 and what I have read, but as referring to one nation. That's what it's going to be, one nation. Even though 1/3 in 144,000 is 2 olive trees, but here it is, the 2 trees become 1 tree. Y'all read that. And here it is. You see that is referring to one here in Galatians. And it says, and to your descendants. See, every generations have a descendants and offsprings that is divided and carried out by those who are grafted in and those who are counted out. Because Yah says, I know the hearts of those who are emerging into this defiled nation, with a nation that is already defiled herself, with many other nations. So he says clearly, and to your descendants, who is Yahweh, this is what I mean. The law which came 430. Didn't we just see 400 years in Genesis 15:13? And then here it is. We seen that on the calendar in 2012, marking the end of slavery. So now you got to realize, dang, somebody's out of time. The math is off. But now here with your brother Yisrael Yeshambayah and hear the IVI intelligent voices, Father, through the body, as I bear witness to this truth, is sharing with you how your math and how your time has been off. That's why you got so many people asking the question, when is the end? Come to IVI, I bet you'll find out fast. Because here it is, you'll start making preparations for yourself individually. Because here it is, your wives, your husbands, your kids, no one can save you from judgment, only you. But it have to come with the correct information and time. Amen. So now we're seeing clearly that to be enslaved means to be held involuntarily, forced under threat of violence, and put to death to work without pay. See that? No reparations ever coming for the so-called African American. Y'all can stop saying that. There will never, ever be no reparations given unto the so-called African Americans. Ever. And here it is. You have seen that it's never going to happen by many leaders who have never came talking about reparations, because they know that is never going to happen. For every Hebrew Israelite that's in America and around the globe being paid for reparations for being a descendant back towards to the lineage of Africa, who ancestors were brought here on slave ships involuntarily, okay, enslaved in a land not their own, and given two continents as a lineage. African American. That's two continents, brother. So now you got to realize, you know this now, because I just gave the identity of Prince being wrong in 1999 and many others. And many knew the truth, but therefore locked the truth up in a basement in Rome. So from 2013, after 2001 to 2013, you had another 12 years. So here it is. We get to 2025 from 2024, 2013 to 2024. Look at the timeline, brothers and sisters. What was going on from 2013 to 2024? This will catch you up to speed with what we're talking about, just up the tip. It's so much I got to give. In Father's name, Yahuwah, who therefore gives to all right now, as I bear witness. So now you see in verse 17, right? This is what I mean. The law which came 430 years. Now underline that. So now we see from 400 to now added on 4 to 30 more years. And here it is. The so-called Hebrew Israelite has only been in this country 175 years. Okay. 175 years. Not thousands. Like the dinosaurs, and as we go back. Afterwards, and it says, does not annul. There we go, everybody. Even though it's been that long, you just not catching up to this wisdom, brothers and sisters. It does not annul a covenant previously ratified by Yahuwah, not as to cancel the promise. You see this? He didn't cancel no promises. What he told Abraham was going to happen, and it happened. Brothers and sisters who therefore are offsprings of the slaves who were in America working in the cotton fields, the mining fields, the salt fields, the sugar field. These are us, brothers and sisters. Your mothers, your grandmothers, offsprings of those ancestors. And here it is, the Jim Crow and so on and so on, right? This is all an emerging religion, repackaged, just like Putin said. The New World Order is nothing more than the old order being repackaged or refurbished to look new. But like we just seen here in the book, not annulled. A covenant previously ratified by Yahuwah, not to cancel the promise, though. You see that? So this is going to open up wisdom to you, brothers and sisters, because now we must understand by the reading now. We must go to 1 Timothy. Watch this. 1 Timothy chapter 4. No. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 3 and 5. Watch what we get here. Move some of this over a little thing. Clearly, in 6, 3 and 5, it says, whoever teaches something different and does not agree with the sound words of the Almighty Yahweh Yeshua, or the religionist teachings, here it is, or the righteous teachings, is conceited, understanding nothing, and has a morbid, we're going to look that up, deposition. He has, or she has a morbid, here it is, deposition for arguments and verbal, here it is, disputes. See, evil do not want to hear the truth because they can't hear it. And when they do hear it, it bugs them out, right? From these come envy, rivalry, insults, evil suspicion. You see that? Most of our brothers who don't read or research or like truth are falling into the category of this emerging religion. So you're getting an outlook of what this emerging religion is, okay? It's twisted also with Christianity and many others as well. It's all in here. Because here it is, Christians say, oh, we're supposed to love everybody, those who are same sex as well. That's a different religion, right? It says, from these come envy, rivalry, insults, evil suspicions, mutual fractions among people, here we go, with corrupted minds. I like that. With corrupted minds who are deprived. There you go. Deprived from what? Deprived from the truth. Then we look up the word enslaved. Involuntary, right? Deprived of the truth, supposing religion to be a means of a gain. This is what we've seen in Christianity, right? In the church, pass the plate, put something in, go dipped in the water. Again, when you backslide, pay more. Ain't that's the protocol? But now people have been waking up, didn't I say, from 2013 all the way up into now. You've been hearing the right name of the Most High, been given light blasts on what his name is, how to become in relationship to him, with him. So therefore you can knock on the door of your hearts and you can let him in, and the Father and the Son can dine with you. You know the scriptures, everybody. Same scriptures that your pastor and many other family and friends have been spitting out at you, but no one is living it. Okay? The truth. Being set apart from the emerging religion that is being repackaged for you today. Okay? So now here it is. My Father wants to bring this to your understanding so you can see every generation go through the testing up into the final generation. Didn't he say? There will be a final generation. So why wouldn't people realize what is going on here? It's about this beast that's going to be risen up with the son of perdition, who therefore will come and make everything fine again. Get rid of all the imposters, all the bad people, okay? So-called. When you cannot put a tag on bad people unless you're using this book to do it. Amen? Because without this book, you can't tag and bag no one. To my understanding, your brother Israel Yeshambaya, which is the understanding of my Father Yahweh. You must have this book in you. Otherwise, you are a part of the emerging religion that is rising to help the son of the perdition who will be handed power from the dragon. Didn't I just tell you this religion comes from UN, Israeli Muslims, Jews, and Muslims? Okay? Think about it. Because here it is. These people are offsprings of those who are evil. They had ancestors too that was befall in ancient Babylon. And they're still excavating and digging up and finding gold right now on the Euphrates River. Then my father said they would find gold over there, oil over there, silver over there, bronze over there, everything over there. And you cannot think without knowing that this other war that comes from Magog and Gog war is about the gold, about the resources, and about this emerging religion that they always been under. Lebanon, Syria, all of them. China, Korea, okay, Lebanon, Iran, okay, Philistine, Pakistan, okay. And this is allowing you to see, brothers and sisters, why you must get your heart in check. Because now as we see here, go to Revelations chapter 18. Because I only got 2 hours, I know. And here it is, in verse 2, what does it say here? He cried out in a mighty voice, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become, you see that? Now I want you all to just rest right here. She has become, and then look here, a hunt. Now when you hunt something, now when they show movies of ghosts, these are things without a body, but therefore they don't have a physical body, but a spiritual body, right? Then I tell you that what is possessing people today is the Euphrates River. Then my father says to the angel, go down to the Euphrates River and release those who have been locked there, right? Out of the Euphrates. This was ancient Babylon of Abraham, okay? Where he came out of, okay? Canaanites as well, right? So now what we see here, what is she? She is a copy of what she inherited because she's a daughter, right? And she is a daughter who is haunted by demons, witchcraft, sorcery. Here it is, also Illuminatius, okay? Skull and bones and many other things. So now you can understand why a hunt is there. Because Father is trying to let you see a code that you never even thought about. Y'all are still waiting on the physical to happen, what missed the mark about the spirituality of the essence of concept. Because my father says a hunt for demons. Demons, they lost their likeness, right? When they fell. When you go back and read, when they fell, when Hillel, Lucifer, the devil fell, and the angels, who therefore was 1/3, fell with them, they lost their angelical being, right? So here it is, a hunt for demons. So that means no bodies, they have spirits, right? She is a cage for every unclean spirit. So now here it is, demons, hunted demons, and here it is, unclean spirits. Those who are basically joining forces or becoming possessed by this emerging religion, which is a demonic religion, okay? One world religion. So now we see only unclean spirits is attracted to demons. Those who have no spirit. I mean, no bodies, just spirit. And here it is, those who are defiled and have blemishes, right? A hunt for demons, unclean spirit. A cage. It didn't say they going nowhere. It said a cage representing that they will remain there until the end of age. And it says a cage for every unclean bird. People are placing TikTok videos of hawks and eagles taking people's house cats. Okay. Unclean bird means unclean, defiled, shouldn't be here. Why is it there in your neighborhoods and people recording it? They sitting on their fence and letting little animals be taken, okay? A cage for every unclean, disgusted beast. There we go. Then the son of perdition is called a beast who get his power from the dragon, okay? Who therefore the whole world will worship. Most of the whole world. And he will feel like he's the most high and therefore require all to have a mark or a stamp proving loyalty to the one world religion and to him. It's all right here, brothers and sisters. Y'all missed that. No one broke this down to y'all, but why? Because it wasn't the right time. And here it is, no one else knew until now. And now you're going to know how far behind you were, just as Abraham, to now how close you are and what you're going to do about it. Go to 2 Timothy chapter 4. Look at verse 3 and 4. 2 Timothy chapter 4. What do my Father says here through the prophet? For the time will come, right, when people will not tolerate sound doctrine. Don't you got a lot of runners, athletes right now that ain't in the Olympic? That every time you try to offer them the word or therefore get to them close enough, they're gone. They're running because they can see the light in you. He says, because they will not tolerate sound doctrine, but they will be following their own desires, which is not their own desires. We just proved that this is an emerging religion we're talking about. The religion Babylon, right? Which has emerging religion that is coming for all. So now he says, will not tolerate sound doctrine, but will follow their own desires and insatiable curiosities. Will accumulate what? Teachers. See that? False teachers in Matthew. Did my father say that? So here it is. I am not even going to the book, but here it is. Father is explaining to you right now from this body, as I bear witness to this truth with you all. And here it is showing you exactly how behind time one has been, right? Because here it is. We see many people who have basically stopped going to church, have stopped listening to the law all along that called them out of the church. Something called you out of there for some reason, right? It's because you had access to a phone that now everybody can be online with. There's no excuse. Because here it is. If you was online for any other purpose besides searching for the truth and allowing the truth to be found unto you, then what has happened? You have become a corrupt vessel. A corrupt vessel who will accumulate teachings. Here it is from other teachers. And will stop listening to the what? Truth. Because now you become a program. Everything you are saying is over and over. And that's all you know what to say. And here it is. This is happening to a lot of brothers and sisters on them corners. Because here it is. People done heard about the history. But there's still others that need to hear it. But here it is. What truly matters is the coming condition, which is the emerging of this religion that is being repackaged upon the inhabitants who are scattered abroad. Okay? And will be diverted. Here it is, as I continue, to miss. Diverted means, watch this. Let's look up the word. And I won't waste too much time on that. You got diverted and perverted. So now watch this. Diverted. Diverted, right? Go back here. Let's see if I got that in there. No. Okay. Diverted. Watch this, y'all. Diverted, to turn aside, to deviate, right? To turn from one course or use another direction. Don't you see many brothers and sisters who were basically in the church or basically just following whatever they wanted to follow being diverted today? Because here it is, many people have been out of time and haven't discovered, here it is, what you're learning today, that therefore this here is allowing you to see how time have constantly moved and the descendants haven't. Because here it is, to turn from one's course, which is from this book, the Bible, and the truth of it, means that therefore you have been immersed into a religion different than the one that has been given from day one. So now, diverted to myths. That means fantasy, made up, 1,000 parts to 1,000 stories. See that? 1,000 parts to 1,000 stories. Because here it is, by the time it get back to another person, it's not original. It wasn't said the way it was said. Because many have diverted it with their own way of explaining it, or therefore adding misunderstanding that brings on complications that therefore has diverted those, because here it is, they have not brought back the source of information in the same envelope. See that? So Yah says you cannot be diverted by myths, because if you are, then you are basically being caught up in the emerging religion, which is being repackaged, like Putin said. And y'all might can catch his YouTube of saying that when he talked about the New World Order. So now, as we see this, brothers and sisters, 2 Timothy, here it is, and chapter 3, 16 through 17. Let's look at James chapter 1. Watch this. And look at verse 5, everybody. He clearly says here in James 1, verse 5, but if any of you lacks wisdom, now understand that. If any of you lack wisdom, he should ask Yahuwah, Yahweh, who gives to all generously, and here it is, ungrudgingly, and he will be given it. You see that? Underline, he will be given it. Because I don't want no one to think that they cannot learn. Because here it is, you got so many brothers and sisters out here that don't want to read, don't want to go grab a book when they hear something that they didn't know. Because here it is, they're so under ignorant, being deceived or having deception in their heart. They basically don't want to hear anything that can make common sense to help them find their way to helping another brother and sister's way, to wherever area you are in. It is saying, take the wisdom of Yah, formulate in prayer, and here it is, bring it onto your people as well. Because here it is, he's only trying to catch you up with time that has been missed. So now he says, he will be given it, right? So pray. You must pray. Now look at Proverbs, everyone. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. Let's go in Proverbs, because we're going to break this down in this 2-hour frame, the much as I can get out that y'all will allow me to, because here it is. I thought I was ahead too as well until I was downloaded this. So here it is, brothers and sisters. You are learning with your brother here at IVI at this precise time. Why? Because we are running out of time, and y'all want to get everyone corrected where so many of these mathematicals of NASA have gone wrong, deliberately leading everybody off the mark, off the scent of what's about to go down. So y'all said, no, we might as well go on and tell everybody, because here it is. There's brothers and sisters out there really, really want to be prepared. So yeah, IVI, you are the chosen source, and here it is. This source gonna go out through all, and before you know it, everybody gonna know what's going on, right? So now watch this in Proverbs chapter 22, right? Chapter 22, verse 1 through 29. Yes, it's heavy. And here it is, 1 through 29. It clearly says, a good name is more desirable than great riches and hidden esteem. Now, I know some of y'all books might read other things, so you can just hear me read. Then gold and silver, rich and poor has a common bound. The Almighty Yahweh is the maker of them all. He sees evil in the hidden, while the native continue on the pay of the penalty. The results of the humility of obedience of the Almighty is riches, honor, and life. Thorns and snarls. Now keep that in mind. Thorns and snarls. This is the devil, as it has with this emerging religion, with open cap, are on the path of the crooked. These who would safeguard their lives will avoid them. Train the young in the way they should go. Even when old, they will not hear their sway from it. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender. See this? Every time we got to go get something, we got to go get it from, you already know. Verse 8, those who sow iniquity reap calamity, and the rod used in anger will fall or will fail, right? Because here it is, we see that a lot of people, children are running in the streets, robbing, stealing, smashing, grab. Where do that behavior come from? It comes from someone out of a descendant, offspring that doesn't know any better either, right? Right here in the book. So it says, verse 9, the generous will be blessed, for they share their food with the poor. Expel the arrogant. The score goes to, it is strife and insult increases. Don't you see that? The Almighty Yahweh loves the pure of heart, right? The person of, here it is, honest speech has a king for a friend. So anyone, here it is, have been returning as an Israelite to therefore get saved by the salvation of Yahweh, he has now become a friend, not an enemy. Verse 12, the eyes of the Almighty Yahweh watch over the knowledgeable, but he defeats the project of the faithless, right? The sluggard say, a lion is outside. I might be slain in the street. The mouth of the foreign woman is a deep pit. See this? So we know many brothers and sisters have therefore been with those outside of darker melon, and here it is, have only fallen into a pit for most of you, because those were wicked women who are basically already emerged into this religion of this Babylon. So the mouth of the foreign woman is a deep pit. Whoever inquires the Almighty's anger will fall into it. Foolish is bound to the heart of the youth, but the rod of the discipline will drive it out, right? Oppressing the poor for enrichment, giving the rich both as share. So I skip down to verse 17. The words of the wise, incline your ear, hear my words, and let your mind attend to my teachings. For it will be well if you hold them within you, right? If they are ready on your lips. So that means a person must be converted back out of this emerging, here this religion, that your trust may be in the Almighty Yahweh. I make them known to you today, yes, to you. Have I not written for you 30 sayings containing counsels and knowledge? Haven't my Father sent apostles and priests, angels before us to hint on us, to allow us to know the truth, to push us in the right direction, to teach you truly, it says in verse 21, how to give a dependable report. You see that? Then I say 1,000 words, like 1,000 stories, that once it comes from the original source, it's now in 1,000 words given back out when it was just in one line, just said this way. So now he says, to one who sends you, Do not rob the poor because they are poor, nor crush the needy at the gate. For the Almighty Yahweh will defend their cause and will plunder those who plunder them. Then he says, do not be friendly with hot heads, nor associate with a wrathful person. Let not you learn their ways. So then my father says, you are who you hang with. So that means brother or sister, those who therefore go down to the so-called, what they call it, the blade. Therefore, you are what you are with, right? One with a prostitute become one with a prostitute, right? So here it is, either in good or badness, right? Because it comes with a stipulation of laws. And become, here go that word, ensnared, as looked up. Do not be one of those who give their hand in pledge. Then we just read that this son of prediction will also make a mark for those to put on their hand or forehead, showing pledge or allegiance, right? So this shows you ain't got to just go to Revelation. My father have better ways to make sure it's clear to you to what you have read, to how wrong you have been, to get you where you need to be, right? So he says, those who become sure for debts. You see that? Because here it is, you give your hand to the devil, you're now in debt to that devil, right? Or that demonic force. For if you are unable to pay, your bed will be taken from under you. Ain't people trying to put people in certain traps right now today, where therefore these people have to rely completely on them? Don't you see that in America? Where all of the immigrants that have come here relying on her, the daughter, and here it is, they're getting resources, but here it is an entrapment, because here it is, they're going to require your allegiance later. Do not remove the ancient landmarks, not your ancestors, that your ancestors set up. Do you see those skilled at their work? So that is clearly telling you every other congregation calls itself a church that doesn't follow the rules and regulations and the ordinances and the creeds of my father Yahuwah is a completely sniper anti-Yahweh. That's right, a sniper. Because here it is, they're killing off the original so the anti-Yahweh can be a leader. Killing truth. They want to kill truth. So anytime someone comes against the anti-Yahweh, they got a sniper out there waiting, trying to therefore debunk you in some kind of way. So brothers and sisters, be aware of this scripture to know that here it is. Do you see those skilled at their work? That's why I tell brothers and sisters on the corner, quit using God, Lord, and Jesus. That's blemish, brother. How could you be trying to attack Esau when you were saying Esau appeased words, Jesus, Lord, and God? What is wrong with you, right? Because now here it is, you know, found out we are all Israelites in the land, but one has claimed it and made others enslaved by it, right? So now he says they will stand in the presence of Yahuwah, though, but not in the presence of the obscure. So now we see this is clearly allowing you to see, brothers and sisters, that this is about the religion. The religion is Babylon, and what is emerging? What is the emerging religion? To bring all under one religion. When Yah says, put no other deities beside me. That's for the Christians who believe in, say, Jesus, and for the Hebrew Israelites that know him and have returned back into, have been studying and have been downloaded by him, right? And here it is, they are looking into the word to see everything, what is precept and logic, but and taking that back to families and friends, loved ones. Because Yah says in the end time, there will be many false prophets. And they started with the church, those who are so-called evangelists, bishops, and Protestants. And they had led many congregations into an emerging religion by the name of Jesus, Lord and God, and not explaining to them why they're using those names. Is because they have now signed into this emerging religion that's already always been there, but it has been hidden. Didn't we just read it was hidden, but now it's unhidden? People are falling away from sound doctrine. They cannot tolerate it. Why? Because now you are identifying those who are been bewitched or have been possessed by those who didn't have bodies when they fell. And that was demons, right? And now it makes clear sense that the Euphrates River is festered with fallen demons of people of that time. And here it is being released upon people, not to kill them, but to torture them. So now let's go to Hebrews and figure out, how do you help yourself with this emerging religion that is formulating? How do you overcome this emerging religion? Today, my Father is going to show you. He's going to show you, brothers and sisters, because he wants you to be saved, your children to be saved, your husband and wives, your girlfriends and boyfriends to be saved. Because what you're going to be doing is living under this covenant, keeping the truth, knowing that here it is, you are saving yourself through salvation of truth, through the faith that Abraham, who became Abraham, had. And this is going to show you how he passed the ones who survived and made it along to carry on offsprings. And then they took what they learned and eventually was converted by other nations in the land and were killed off. And then those offspring who kept the law continued, as well as the ones who didn't. In each generation, there was always an even balance of those who left the earth at the same time or different times. The numbers always stay leveled, everybody. And here it is. This is going to show you now, brothers and sisters, what you need to do to stop or to come out of that emerging religion. Because some see it now and some don't see it at all. So let's go to Hebrews, if we will, chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11. See, here at IVI, we don't just want to tell you about something. We also want to help you about something. That's right. Because here it is. My Father says only true Israel will hear, like John 10:27, my voice, and understand what I'm saying. Because here it is. Yes, parable slang will be there, but with enough effort, you will, here it is, soak up this knowledge and understanding. Let's get to Hebrews 11, verse 1. It says, faith is the realization, right, of what is hoped for and the evidence of the things not seen, my brothers and sisters. See, before you didn't see this information. You didn't know the Euphrates River was ancient Babylon. No one told you that. You can just look at the dates, look at the time frame. Because here it is, it's telling you exactly the map of plan of Father Yah and what is truly happening today in your time travel. He says, now, understanding, in order for you to overcome this emergent religion that is attacking everybody, even right now, and have been since 2013 and beyond, you see that here it is, faith that Abram had was something unrealized, but was hoped for. See that? Because he said, I might not understand this right now, Father, Yahuwah, what you're saying about my future descendants and descendants. But I know going down through the generations of this time, you will show the prophets that you will raise up for the people. Because he says, hope for. Hope for what? Hope for the evidence of what you're saying. Things not seen. So now we are seeing why Hebrews 11:1 have been overlooked. Because people have been out of time. Out of time. Angels are being sent to give you the download information of what you didn't see. Now, look at James chapter 2. Hope y'all are writing this down. You don't need it. Because in a while, and when this phase hit around here, before 2027, all of this will be removed. That no one will have any doctrine but the one world religion book. So now realize that. Confiscation. So go to James chapter 2, verse 19 now. With what it says here. Clearly says, you believe that Yahuwah is one. Didn't we just say that? One with the Father, one with the Son. Yahweh saying two people, he says one. So now we can understand that one must come back to the one only religion that ain't a religion, which is the gospel of truth of Yeshua, which is the only book of the Lamb's law of the Father through the Son. He says, because when you believe that Yah is one, because you're going to see those who flee over in Israel coming up pretty soon, and you're going to go back and think, say, our brother Israel Yashamba Yah told us this. And now they're running because they're going to get protected for a time and a half. Because now they have believed that Yeshua is one with the Father again in their hearts. This is what saves them. Okay? And he says, because you do well when you do that, even the demons believe and tremble. You see that? When demons believe that Yahweh is the Most High, every time they remind themselves, this is basically make them tremble just off of the name alone. So this is clear, showing you how do you beat this immersion religion, brothers and sisters. It is clearly showing you that you must understand, you must believe that Yahuwah is the Son of the Most High, and he is the one that is delivering you this download today through your brother Yisrael Shambaya to help you overcome the emergent religion, one world faith, but returning you back knowledgeable of why and how you won't be caught up in this emerging one world religion. So now let's go to the book of Acts. Watch this, chapter 16. Acts chapter 16, verses 31, everybody. Verses 31 clearly allow you to see, and they said, right? And they said, believe in the Almighty Yahuwah, Yahshua, and you and your household will what? Be saved. See, you cannot believe in a one world religion, everybody. That's putting all deities from every congregation together on one tree and serve. Yah says, no, serve me alone. Remember the scriptures. So this is going to be the testing of that gold that I was talking about today. You Jesus Christ Christians. You Lord and God followers. Because here it is, you so-called baptized in holy water. Okay? This is going to prove to my Father and the Son how saved you are on this day. Because when this hit your mailboxes and goes live on your TV, you got 11 days to make a decision of what you're going to do. Because you must be marked and sealed under the new world religion, under the new world order. This is what I'm talking about. Telling you what is before you and how you can escape. Just like those Jewish Israelis that's going to run for their lives when this go down. So now we see clearly, he says, believe. This is how you're going to escape, everybody. Are you believing what you're hearing here at IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelites? Because if not, when you start to see it show up, it's going to bring my face right back to yours. In the idea of what you heard before to what is going on right now. Believe in the Almighty Yahshua. In you and your household will what? Be saved. Go to Matthew chapter 21. The Father is trying to help you. Help those who are listening. I'm not talking to the ones that ain't listening. I can care less of what happens to you, right? But here it is. Because you have made your own bed. So yes, you will lie in it firmly forever and ever out of existence. Now go to Matthew chapter 21, verse 32. Now here it is. When John came to you, here you go, in the way of righteousness. Ain't I, your brother Yisrael Yeshambayah, coming to you in obedience, humbleness, bear witness, to allow, here it is, the way of righteousness to come to you. When John came to you in the way of righteousness, you did not believe him. Many are not going to believe me. I know that. But you can just go look at some of the videos to what's been put out so far. And it has spoken volumes ahead of time, before time. Okay? And this is not a boast because his Father Yah speaks to you. I'm bearing witnessing. I am one with him. Remember that. So now he says, when John came to you in the way of righteousness, you did not believe him. Underline that. But tax collectors, and watch this, and prostitutes did. See that? My Father knows. The same ones that he might mention you being tied one to, you might be getting saved through that prostitute. Because here it is. One have turned their ways around in their heart. And they see that yet, even when you saw that you did not later change your minds and believe in him. See that? There's eyes everywhere, everybody. And everybody is seeing everybody either choosing the emergent religion of Catholic Rome, or they're choosing, here it is, salvation through Yahweh himself. Taking that commission right up in here. That's right. Believing that he is the Son of the Most High. That's right. And he comes with all truth in ways of righteousness, just as we read. So now, there can only be one set of people with truth and another set with lies or confusion, right? But Yah says, I'm going to stand in the way to try to make all well. but it'd be my Father doing the counting of who makes it into his kingdom. So now we see as we continue, yet even when he saw that, you did not later change your minds. See, people can see righteousness in you, brothers and sisters, who are keeping yourself without blemish, who are working diligently every day to hear the mind consciousness of Yah first, to decide and know what you must do and what you must not do, right? Same faith as Abraham. This is what you're learning. How to escape. I proved the emerging and what this religion comes from. So now how do what you do to save yourself? What is faith? Do you have it? Right? So now let's go to Mark chapter 1. Go to Mark chapter 1. And I got like 15 minutes left, guys. I am so sorry. I'm going to have to pick this up again. Oh, we will be doing this part 2 tomorrow. You can believe that. And it'll be starting about 3 o'clock Mountain Time. So now realize Mark chapter 1. Oh, it's a brand new book. Mark chapter 1, everyone. Verse 15. See, this is going to open up the whole shebang. Allow people to see exactly what is transforming this earth right now. Okay? What is coming into play right now? Who is playing the game of deceiver and those who are not right now? Okay? So now as we get to Mark chapter 1, verse 15, right? It clearly says, this is the time of what? Fulfillment, brother. Fulfillment, sister. The kingdom of Yahuwah is what? At hand. Ain't that what we've been telling y'all here at IVI? We're here to get you straight. We're here to get you unconfused. We're here to allow you to see a real brother and sister of yours, of the household of the kingdom of Judah. To show our love unto you. Compassion from the Father in the Son. By redemption, by giving you back your helmet of salvation. Because that is where your confusion is coming from, through your eyes. You are in and seeing things from the wrong places. The kingdom of Yahuwah is at hand. Repent and believe in the gospel. What is the gospel? Everything that is showing you and telling you the truth. Sound doctrine. With logic added to it so you can understand what generation you in. Because I tell you, some brothers and sisters are out of generation. So now, look at Romans, the book. Let's go to Romans chapter 12. I got so much. That's why we have class. And I want everybody to attend class every third Saturday. We got another one coming up next Saturday. That'll be the third one now. And here it is. We'll be there at what? 2 o'clock. All the way to 2:30. Do an hour class. Sometime we'll be there up into the night. Almost to the evening. So for all our heavily inspired brothers and sisters of Israelite, you need to come on and join forces with IVI if you need to. Okay? We don't want to be feeling like we're trying to enslave you. Okay? Come as your heart desire. But understand, realize here, as we are now back to Romans chapter 12, verse 2, he says, do not conform. That go to that word. Convert, conform yourselves to this age. So that means this was said every generation when the law of the book of the scrolls were in hand of Israelites. At every nearing generation, there was laws added. and given unto the commission of those leaders, such as Abraham and after. So now we see here, he says, yourselves to this age, but be transformed, my brothers and sisters. Transformed by the renewal of your mind. Underline renewal and transform. That you may discern. Discern means to have a full righteous understanding of something. By research, by seeing it with your eyes, reading it, having it explained. Okay? So he says that you may discern what is the will. See, the will is come out of the emerging religion. Didn't he say come out of her? As you have read in Revelations, many of you, in Jeremiah as well, Daniel. Come out of her. It's everywhere in the scrolls. Every generation. So now here it is. You are now in this present generation of time leading up to the last age of generation. Age means generation. He says that you may discern what is the will of Yahuwah, what is good, what is pleasing. See that? When you went to church, brothers and sisters, did they tell you only just what is good and not what is pleasing? See that? You can know what is good for you, but will you do it? See that? The pastor never told you that. You must do it too. But see, here it is. Here's the way that here it is. The Spirit teaches that different from the pastor. Because he says what is pleasing and perfect. See, that pastor wasn't perfect because he lied to you and gave you a false name named Jesus, Lord, God, and Allah, Buddha, and all these others. Which we proved today was a different doctrine and not the same, brother. So now you got to realize, here it is, your brother, Yisrael Shambaya, is here to only be sent to in obedience to my Father to allow him to use this body, to allow you to be downloaded, to understand we are fighting against an emerging religion now. Okay? We now have seen and know who is the son of prediction is. And here it is. Kamala Harris is only on for the ride to celebrate him in. Because they are all in together. And yes, man might have ways, and here it is, that want to do good for the world, the country, but it is never going to be on a level playing field. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. Those of you who have been put enslaved. I'm talking about white, brown, black. All of you have been enslaved at some time and some point in your lives. And some who are not here is being enslaved right now. You might have friends and brothers that are being enslaved right now, won't listen to what you're saying. You're trying to help them, trying to pass information to them. They're denying the truth, right? We read about that. And we're seeing that it lines up with the precept of your generation today, just as it was in historical times. My Father only wants to get you there so you can know to quit worrying and putting your time into her and put your time into him and his elected and his 1/3. Two groups, two witnesses of Judah and those of the mixed tribe and the Gentile tribe who are still the mixed tribe, 1/3. Because some of them are African too as well, coming in. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. So now realize, he says, what is good and pleasing and perfect, right? In Romans 12, verse 2. And to do not conform yourselves. So he said individually. I do not want y'all to be believers of Protestant, Baptist, Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, Lutheran, and on and on. Because here it is, that will leave blemishes on you, brothers and sisters. That will keep you from the kingdom that we just spoke of a moment ago. And therefore, there will not be no salvation helmet given unto you as a crown. So now realize, you will have no understanding. You will be a brother or a sister that you can see who is completely confused about the identity of who they are. So now let's look at the Hebrew book, chapter 11 again, verse 6. Now, when you get to 11, look at verse 6. It says this, right? But without faith, underline that, without faith, it is what? Impossible to please Yahuwah, Yeshua. For anyone who approaches Yahuwah, here it is, underline, approaches, must what? Believe that he exists and that he rewards, that means he keeps his promise, to those who seek him, right? So now what we are seeing that right here, brothers and sisters, that it is clear that faith is showing you how it lines up with the understanding of the end times of the last generation that is upon the nations today, and gives you proclamation of what is coming. Because here it is, Yah is trying to allow you to see, as long as you keep trying to go along with the ride like Kamala Harris, everyone. And as you see, she only got 6 months to have her little fun and get her pension. But here it is, without being president, she wouldn't have received as much as she would have received as vice president. And for the work she have done behind the scenes, right? So now here it is, all it is getting out all over the line, right? Montel, all of them hanging out. So now realize, secrets have been kept hidden, but now what we have read, Yah has brought them forth to allow you to see that without faith, it is impossible to approach Yahuwah or the Son, to get any deliverance. But here he said, one must believe that he exists to have that type of faith and to come out the emerging religion of Babylon. Daughter Babylon, who is not a mystery no more. So now, watch here in John 3:16, which many of you have been to, but I just love to just go there. Regular John 3:16, right? Clearly, for Yah so loved the world, right? That he gave his son, Yahweh, so that everyone who believes in him, underline, might not perish. Now, what do the word perish mean? When you go to the word perish, watch this. Oh, finger so fat. When we get to perish, watch what we see. We see to become destroyed. The word perished. He says, believe in him so you might not perish. The dictionary says to become destroyed, ruined, cease to exist. Now understand 42 months that the devil gonna have, well, the son of prediction gonna have, leading up to 2037. That word they have overlooked, perished. Everyone that joins this one world religion, perish. See? So a lot of these people know that they are headed for death. And some of them don't even know it. And they're dating people that is walking them hand in hand every day into more death through religion, of their religion, of what they believe, or what they want. Okay? is because it's coming from an ancient religion that came or stemmed from ancient Babylon of Abram. So now you're seeing what it takes now to defeat this emerging religion. Yeah, you're going to break up. Yeah, a lot of people are going to say, oh, no, I can't be with that one. I got to go get with, get myself into y'all, whatever. But this is the story of why we're talking about this in the first place. This emerging religion, which is Babylon religion. So now here it is. He says in verse 16, John 3:16. Now, many people read this, but they never seen it line up with logic and precept like this before to get them right now in the present times of a present generation that's soon ended. For Yah so loved the world that he gave his only son unto this dark, evil, religious world, so that everyone who believes in him who teaches from me might not perish. That's what the scroll says. But might have what? Eternal life. Underline that. That might have eternal life. Might. Keep that in mind. Because we know everyone can't go. Everyone ain't going to line up to the logic and precept here at IBI, Intelligent Voices Israelites. They're going to believe just like with Moses and the Israelites, oh, he was just a man. That can't be right. But here it is all over YouTube videos that we put out have always been right. And my father says, that is a true prophet sent unto you to tell you something that no one else has ever told you. And it won't be over and over that they have to keep telling you this. Once and for all. Then he give him the blood once and for all to all who wants to believe in that blood, right? So keep it together, everybody. Now let's look at John 10:10. And I'm going to wrap up because I got to go. And I will pick up next tomorrow, and we will pick up where we left off at. I assure you, because you must get this whole thing. Now, 10:10, watch this, everybody. A thief comes only to what? Steal, slaughter, and destroy, right? I come so that they might have what? Life. So this is a different kind of thief in the night, y'all. I come so that they might have life and have it more internally. See that? Life internally. Now remember the tree in garden. The tree of life was taken away from Adam and Eve, right? So this is taking you back from the logic to the precept of that, what you have read. And now it's trying to allow you to see that therefore there's two different thieves. One is read up a thief in the night. See that? Trying to get you to think that Yah is a scary cat or therefore afraid to help his children when he's already helping his children spiritually as a good thief in the night because he's of light from the day who have compelled darkness. So now he says, so they might have life and have it more internally. So now you're getting your thieves identified. And why you see thief in the night? Because it's the good one, not the one from the darkness who is already diverting man's minds and hearts, children, to pledge in school to the flag instead of pledge to this Bible. Okay? And that's why many taking their kids out, so-called. No, they just indoctrinating them more at home. So until next time, everyone, I am your brother, Yisrael Yashambayah. I keep you in peace with my Father. Shalom, shalom to all that is important for you to know, that the belief of this teaching is going to carry you a long way. We will pick up part 2 of this teaching. And that will be tomorrow, Mountain Time at 3 o'clock. We have our third class, private class, that you can log on to, which will be coming up not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, everybody. Like I say, reach out to us, 623-455-0548. And that way we can actually better assist you with the things and materials you might need, and therefore to also congregate together in an assembly. So until next time, shalom, shalom.